thank you for bringing that issue up. It is something that we are gonna have to deal with in both Sonoma and Marin counties. As you know, this issue is about to pop in both counties in major ways, and Sonoma unfortunately relies on Marin at this point. So there are layer upon layers of this, and the difficulty for the decision makers is that the money is in the waste stream. So they have to keep it flowing, and there's the rub. So, you know, the more we recycle and the more we reuse and take anything out of the waste stream, there's less money to be made. So, but this is something we really should take a hard look at for the report. Thank you. Thank you for bringing it up.
I have a question, you know, related to waste. And since Bruce was talking about it, sounds like you have a lot of knowledge in terms of the waste. And I wonder, what is your opinion about the recycling waste? Because I think the city of Novato recycles and it mixes the paper with the cans. So in terms of recycling, does it mean that we're not recycling anything at all? You know?
Well, we're very fortunate to have an expert in the room, David Haskell, I see, is sitting back here, and he's on the county's local task force for Marin County Solid and Hazardous and Solid Waste Joint Powers Authority. He can talk about it. But Marin County's numbers, when we see 74 and 76% of recycling, that's pure nonsense, and we're not doing the best in the state. The fact of the matter is 16% of that is green waste that goes into landfills. It's counted as recycled because it's used as daily cover, and a lot of the inerts, the concrete and the rock and all this other stuff that goes to the landfill is counted as recycled. So we can do a better job, and we have some very, very talented and dedicated people, and I mentioned David Haskell. Of course, someone mentioned Dr. Paul Palmer. There are a number of people out there. He's in Sebastopol, by the way. There's some real talent out there, but Marin County policymakers have to be willing to make the change, and the waste stream is pretty complex, and there's a whole lot of money involved.
One more question, and then we'll move on. You're right. We're riveted by waste here.
Who knew? Rue's setup was too good to let pass, and so I won't. The idea that the revenue stream is tied into the amount of waste is really where the leverage is, and we need to incentivize in some way waste reduction. And the other component of that really ties into ideas about a Green New Deal has to do with creating community benefit, which brings up a lot of the other points that some of our audience members have brought up. So it is a very key issue, and because there are council members in this chamber, I had to bring it up. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd just like to comment on that. David, myself, Sue Brown, Kiki, we were all part of the Citizens Advisory Council of Zero Waste. We were working with Charles McLashin, and we came up with what were the barriers to zero waste. One of the barriers was the fact is that there are no incentives for the garbage generators, and no incentives for the haulers to move to zero waste, where cities like San Francisco and Napa, they're moving in that direction because they've written franchise agreements that have incentives built in there for the haulers and for the waste generators. And unfortunately, most of the garbage contracts in Marin County, and this is getting a little too technical, are evergreen contracts, which means that they go on forever. They're 25 years or 20 years forever, and the same garbage company always gets a new year added every single year. So there's no competition, there's no way to force them to change unless we change our policy makers, except for the three in this room. And the fact of the matter is, the haulers, and in like San Rafael, for example, is a regulated company. They are under a contract, but they have two other entities. One's the recycling company. So all the revenues go to the recycling company, and the other one's the recycling center. All the revenues go to the recycling company, and the expenses go to the regulated company, the guys you see on the street picking up your garbage. So, and because the contracts, this will blow you away, are cost plus. What they do is they just load all their costs in the regulated companies, and the ratepayers pay for it. Every time you see a free box donated by whomever they are in the waste industry, you know you guys are paying for